All right, Monday Night Football, DeMonte, and we might have a problem.
Yeah, so the Bears came out looking pretty good. Caleb had that nice
Yep.
drive in the beginning of the game. Seemed like they were controlling it. Even JJ McCarthy threw a pick six, but they still turned it
Yep.
around and won. So obviously Caleb Williams lost last night. What was your biggest takeaway from this game?
All right. I'm officially a little concerned about Caleb. I was not at any point last year, but the sequence of the last 96 hours where I'm a subscriber. I was already a subscriber to Tyler Dunn's Substack. It's like $50 for the whole year. Support real journalism. He is the guy. If people are like, it's Go Long TD. Let me see if you go to golongtd.com if that takes you there. I actually don't know the answer to that. No. So hold on. Let me see what the actual was. So, no, it does. Oh, maybe. Yeah, golongtd.com, but it's on Substack. He is the guy who broke the story a year ago, DeMonte, that Sean McDermott tried to rally the troops by being like the 9/11 hijackers thing. He has real sources. He is a real journalist. He's totally independent. So I was already a subscriber of his. He has released a 3-part book on Caleb's first year with the Bears. It ain't great. And it is, to me, highly concerning. It also discusses, the person who comes out looking the worst is Ryan Poles, the GM. Caleb doesn't look great, though, in it either. And it talks about a shaky work ethic, not necessarily galvanizing leadership, and then a shocking statement from some of his sources that there is a belief within the front office that was kept from the coaching staff that Caleb might have the learning disability dyslexia, which there is obviously no shame in that at all. However, one of the ways dyslexia can manifest itself, obviously, is you transpose words or letters, and that one of the reasons they postulate he might have trouble translating the play call from his headset to his wristband, getting it in, getting plays in on time, is a confusion about what he's reading. And that is not something that is, you can't overcome. But it is something that has to be accounted for. And the reporting is that the front office kept it from his coaches last year. Now, obviously, Ben Johnson, one would think, has all this information. And if you watched last night, you saw most notably that play on the sideline when Caleb spun out of trouble, went to the sideline, and then ripped an absolute laser to, I don't know if it was DJ Moore or Rome, I'm not sure.
Rome.
Why the talent, DeMonte, is undeniable and hypnotizing. It just is. And you saw that obviously throughout his remarkable collegiate career. But his right now deficit on the pre-snap parts of being an NFL quarterback, to me, are going to slow his development. And you saw that left and right last night. That getting plays in was still a problem. Motioning guys when there's a few seconds on the shot clock, on the game clock or play clock, was still a problem. Like some things that he really needs to be at this point, in my opinion, better at. Those things have become, one game in, have not improved. And
you don't think his decision making at all improved a little bit from last year?
So I do think his decision-making improved. I'm talking about the
The timely
pre-snap
stuff?
operation. I'm talking about
Okay.
getting the team out of the huddle, conveying the play call in time, doing the things necessary to prevent these 5-yard pre-snap penalties. That was brutal the whole night. Just was. And while his decision making I thought was better, and he was quicker getting the ball out, his accuracy was shaky.
Yeah. He's putting a
He
lot on
missed
putting a lot on him.
putting a
Too much zip.
lot on the ball, and also just missing. There were a couple spots he missed guys wide open. And so if I am being fair, which I have to be, I still believe in Caleb Williams. I am less certain that superstardom is in his future. And
Wow.
I think that is, for me, as a guy who said he would come into the league as a top 10 quarterback, tough pill to swallow. Trust me. But
Right. You don't think it might be a little early with it being game one? Like if they were to go and put it on the Lions, would that change stuff immediately?
Maybe I'm going to look back on this and say I was, 10 hours after the game and it was reactionary. But I understand most of the audience has not read the Tyler Dunne story. And again, his Substack is golongtd.com. I highly encourage people. It's worth the $6 a month. It's less than that, $4 a month. It's worth it just to read this story, to be totally honest with you. That story shook my faith in a real way. And then this game, of course, listen, he started 10 of 10. It started great. It ended so poorly. And listen, he's not the only culprit in this, which brings us to Ben Johnson, where I didn't like Ben Johnson's decision early to not kick the field goal. I just think you don't have the Lions team from last year. You're also playing a team that is going to be hard to accumulate points on, as evidenced by the fact your offense, struggled to score points throughout the night. I know they finished with 24. One touchdown came with 2 minutes left, and another one was a pick six. But JJ at that, you know what I mean? There was reason to believe JJ would struggle early, and he did. But the bigger problem is, and evidently Peyton Manning peeped this on the Manning cast, because of course he did. I was surprised Joe and Troy didn't. But this is a coaching note that is simply, listen, nobody's in the Brian Callahan category. More on him later. But this was a mistake by Ben. So here's the situation. He understood we've got to score before the 2-minute warning. Caleb almost ran it in before the 2-minute warning at 2:04 or 2:05. They end up ruling him, out of bounds at the 6-inch line. They then do a quick pass, score. They score at 2:02. They have one timeout. With the 2-minute warning and one timeout, if you force a 3 and out, you're going to get the ball back with about a minute left, down 3 points, and be alive. Without the 2-minute warning and one timeout, you're going to get the ball back with about 20 seconds left and be dead. It's that simple. The 2-minute warning must be retained, in part because I think Ben challenged a play because he didn't understand the rule. Now, that's a tricky rule because, so let me back up to it. The rule is, if someone's knee is on the ground and you touch them, they're down immediately. what Ben saw, or his guy in the booth saw, is, oh, we didn't touch the player who was down. We punched the ball. And we punched the ball so cleanly, it did not, we never touched the player until the ball was loose. So is that a fumble? And so he challenged it. And the answer is no, it's not. Even just touching the ball when a player is down on the ground, he's down. So that's like a nuance of the rule. Head coach needs to know that. So that's why they only had one timeout instead of two. But now we get to 2:02 left. And Cairo Santos, who missed a field goal earlier and is not known for the strongest of legs, DeMonze, Ben Johnson tells him, kick it out of the back of the end zone to retain the 2-minute warning. Kevin O'Connell tells his guy, if you can return it, return it. Don't worry about the yardage. Just return it to burn these 2 seconds. Sidebar, no one's ever done this, but I would encourage it. The actual sharpest play there for that returner, if he only has to burn 2 seconds, is to catch it and run sideways, staying in the end zone to burn as much time as possible, and then just step out the back of the end zone for a touchback or kneel it for a touchback. Then you still get the 35-yard line. You don't risk a fumble. You burn more time because the guys have to get to you. But again, that is PhD level coaching, of which, not everyone is here yet. That's fine. Kevin O'Connell did a great job with it. But here is the nuanced part that matters in particular with the new touchback rules, DeMonze. The new touchback rule is, if you kneel it in the end zone, if you kick it into the end zone and they kneel it, they get it on the 35. They did not change the fact that if you kick it out of bounds, you get it at the 40. So, if the single most important thing to your team is that they not be able to return this kick, and you don't have a cannon-legged kicker who can kick it out the back of the end zone on command, then you don't ask him to kick it out the back of the end zone, which he might not be able to do. You ask him, fire that thing 45-degree angle right out of bounds, which everyone can do. You give up 5 yards, who cares? You guarantee, so instead of the 35, it's the 40. That doesn't matter. What matters is now that next play happens at 2:02, there's nothing they can do about it. That was a mistake by Ben Johnson. I saw it in real time. Peyton Manning on the Manning cast evidently saw it in real time. And I thought that was a mistake. So listen, I don't think that was like an awful first game by Ben Johnson, but the bad challenge and the trusting that Cairo Santos can just boom it out the back of the end zone were very costly mistakes.
So what are you giving him as a grade in his first game?
Blew a big lead. Offense didn't really get going after the opening script. Those mistakes, C+.
C+?
C+. Giving him a C+. All right, let's spend a second on JJ.
Yeah, I was about to say, so after seeing that performance by JJ, what do you expect from him moving forward?
Well, listen, I think that the comeback and his role in it and the confidence he's going to get from it, if they didn't get that comeback at the end and it was just he threw a pick 6 and they lose, I think the next few weeks could be real rough. Instead, a guy whose rep coming in was just a winner, makes big plays, galvanizing force, just adds to it in his first ever NFL game. Pretty good. Like, that part is really good. So I didn't think he was that impressive. I didn't think he was that good, but he had the moments which I think are, super relevant and super, useful. And so I want to give him credit for that. Am I sold entirely that, he's going to be a franchise quarterback? No, of course not yet after one game. But for what his rep was, DeMonze, that was an awesome start.
He fit his description in this game.
Yes, for sure.
Will you be giving?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Will Caleb be getting similar treatment to the Prince? You know how Trevor had bad coaching, and then he had his coach, and that was officially his first year.
Well, let's listen. I mean, if Trevor does what the Prince did, which is have an awesome second year, make the playoffs, win a playoff game, then yeah, we can just say, or if Caleb does what Trevor did, we can just say, yeah, it was all on Eberflus. And I think a lot of it was on Bears dysfunction, Eberflus. Again, I'm not saying I'm out on Caleb. I am saying that some of the stuff that I wanted him to be just a little tighter on, I didn't see. And that just is what it is.